Good morning. My name is Pritchard, Professor Colin Pritchard from the Faculty of Health and Social Sciences, University of Bournemouth, United Kingdom. My background is from, I was qualified as a psychiatric social worker in the Department of Psychiatry, the University of Manchester in 1964. My first lectureship was in the Department of Psychiatry in the University of Leeds in 1970. I became professor at the University of Southampton in the Faculty of Social Sciences in 1980. I moved to the Faculty of Medicine in the University of Southampton as a research professor in 1998 because my research crosses the health and social care, medical and societal boundaries. I became a research professor at the University of Bournemouth in 2003, where I continue to enjoy the privilege of still working at my hobby. How did I get into neurological research? Early on, my second friend developed motor neuron disease, which our American colleagues call amyotrophic sclerosis. And I thought this was crazy because this is my second friend. And as a student, I was taught that motor neuron disease is 1 in a 50,000 condition. Our first study looked at the 21 Western countries and took the analysis from 1979 to 1997 to find that 12 of the 21 Western countries had substantial rises in neurological deaths over the period. This paper attracted the attention of the Public Health Department of the state of Massachusetts in America, who wanted to analyze amyotrophic sclerosis because of the controversy in the States in 2004 following the Iraqi war, where certain young servicemen were developing motor neuron disease. So they sought an independent researcher outside the States because the issue was so controversial. We continued to measure changes in the incidence and deaths of neurological disease throughout the Western world. Now, of course, some critics argued that the increase was largely due to better diagnosis, or in fact, it was rather demographics, because we've got more old people, therefore we'll have more age-related diseases. Well, that looks a little logical at first, but let me assure you, our research shows irrefutably, based on WHO data, that there are more elderly people, certainly, but far, far more elderly people dying of neurological disease than ever before. So to emphasize the acceleration of these changes, we have looked just at the deaths in this century from 2000 to 2015. The numbers, for example, are staggering. In Britain, in 2000, there were 38,000 brain disease deaths. By 2015, there's 157,000. In the United States, it was 220,000, and by 2015, it was 573,000 deaths. Such increases have to have an environmental factor. However, as you would expect, the majority of these deaths were in people over 75. So we then focused, and this is the crucial clincher against the Commercian hypothesis, we focused on people aged 55 to 74, which is considerably lower than the average death rate in the Western world countries, to find that on average, most countries had increased their death rates in this century, in this age group, by 20%, and notable increases was in America, 47%, in the United Kingdom, 58%, and in Germany, 62%. The only outlier was France, whose rates fell slightly. But for these rates to fall, for these rates in this age group to rise at such a level, have to be environmental multiple interactive factors, which includes a range of pollutants, and we think not caused by, but influenced by rises in background magnetic field. Of course, this may be a welcome conclusion or hypothesis because of vested interest, and we're not asking to stop the digital world. We think we've got evidence to say it needs to be made safer. But is this a conspiracy? After all, the 16th century philosopher Francis Bacon said, "When knowledge fails, wonder grows," which rather reflects something of the conspiracy theory ideas in the world at large. On the other hand, our 18th century philosopher Alexander Pope said, "What's the reason that treason never prospers? For if treason prosper, who dare calls it treason?" I believe, colleagues, when we meet at our conference, I will offer you evidence to show that this is not treason, but an early indication of a public health crisis which has environmental roots, which needs to be recognised and dealt with as soon as possible, so we do not have another environmental catastrophe, disease-caused catastrophe like smoking and asbestos. Colleagues, I look forward to meeting with you.